Tarkov, a name that probably makes you think of two things: intense firefights and hauntingly silent streets. It's a place where the only real law is survival. The city is a concrete graveyard, completely sealed off from the outside world, where two private armies are fighting a war that everyone else has already forgotten. We see the chaos, we live the brutality, but have you ever stopped to ask the most important question? Why? Why was this once booming part of Russia just cut off and left for dead? What if I told you the chaos consuming the Novinsk region wasn't just some random conflict that got out of hand? What if it was all part of a plan? A calculated move in a dirty game of corporate greed and political cover-ups? The theory is that two PMCs went to war and things spun out of control. But the truth is so much darker. Today we're diving into the Terra Group scandal and the real reason Tarkov was walled off from the rest of the world. Our story doesn't start with a gunshot, it starts with a promise. The promise of the Novinsk Special Economic Zone. Before the war, the Russian government set up this area to be a bridge between Europe and Russia, hoping to pull in foreign money and kickstart a new era of progress. Think of it as a paradise for corporations, with relaxed laws and less red tape. The jewel of this region was the city of Tarkov. With its modern port and transportation hubs, it was the industrial heart of the zone, and for a little while, it worked. Foreign investment poured in, businesses took off, and the region became a symbol of Russia's new ambitions. Right at the centre of it all was one company, a massive global corporation that seemed to be the poster child for the zone's success: Terra Group. On the surface, Terra Group looked like a model company, officially working in things like agribusiness and biotech. Its London-based wing, Terra Group Labs, claimed to be a pioneer in peaceful research. But behind that shiny corporate mask, something deeply illegal was taking root in the consequence-free environment of the economic zone. Terra Group's real business was corruption and forbidden science. They paid off local officials to turn a blind eye to their criminal activities. Scraps of intel from in-game quests paint a horrifying picture. Terra Group was running unauthorized and unethical experiments on people. In secret labs buried under the city, they developed dangerous combat stimulants and other hazardous chemicals. Based on in-game hints, their crimes were massive and varied, from setting up shell companies to even possibly illegally mining uranium. Terra Group wasn't just investing in Tarkov, they were poisoning it from the inside out. You can't keep a secret that big forever. As Terra Group got bolder, they finally caught the attention of the Russian government. Investigations were launched, but they were shut down quickly and violently. To protect itself and destroy the evidence, Terra Group unleashed its private army, United Security, or USEC. USEC is a PMC made up of mostly Western operators, hired to provide muscle for Terra Group's dirty work and to eliminate anyone who got too close. In response to a foreign army running wild on its territory, the Kremlin is rumoured to have sanctioned its own private military company. They were called the Battle Encounter Assault Regiment, BEAR for short. Made up of former and current Russian special forces, BEAR's job was to figure out what Terra Group was really doing and to stop USEC. What came next was a brutal proxy conflict known as the Contract Wars. The streets of Tarkov became a battlefield. USEC fought to bury the truth, while BEAR fought to dig it up. This wasn't just a corporate squabble anymore. It was a shadow war between global powers, fought by soldiers who could be denied in a city that was slowly bleeding to death. The turning point came when Russian law enforcement, including parts of the SFB, tried to raid Terra Group's main office in Tarkov. They were there to seize evidence and to make arrests, but they were met with overwhelming force. USEC operators defending the building got into a massive firefight with the authorities that lasted for nearly an hour. According to some accounts, USEC even used grenade launchers from the upper floors to take out police vehicles on the street. The raid failed, and the authorities had to pull back under heavy fire. A short time later, the entire office building was levelled by a huge explosion, probably a remote bomb, that destroyed any evidence left inside. This one event changed everything. The secret Contract Wars had just exploded into the open. The scandal was no longer a rumour whispered between spies, It was a full-blown armed uprising on Russian soil, paid for by a foreign company and defended by a foreign army. The conflict had hit the point of no return. The Russian government and the UN, which had some peacekeepers in the region, were now looking at a total disaster. The risk of this shadow war becoming a real, open war between Russia and the West was suddenly very real. They had to do something. The solution was as drastic as it was brutal. To stop the fighting from spreading and to keep anyone else from getting in, the Russian military decided to seal the entire Novinsk region off from the outside world. A complete quarantine. All roads blocked. No one in, no one out. A shoot-on-sight order was given to anyone who even got close to the cordon. This lockdown wasn't just about containment though. It was about burying the Terra Group scandal under tons of concrete and rubble. By walling off the region, the powers that could be just washed their hands of the whole mess. The corporation, its crimes, the PMCs, and thousands of innocent civilians were now trapped inside, forgotten, left to rot with the city. Inside this new prison, society fell apart almost instantly. With the government gone and supplies cut off, a new, savage law took over. That law, the law of survival. The civilians who were left behind, factory workers, cops, doctors, and criminals, had to adapt or die. They armed themselves and formed gangs to survive and maybe even profit from the chaos. They became the Scavs. This is the world of Escape from Tarkov, a lawless, isolated wasteland where the last soldiers of USEC and Bear continue their pointless war. They're not fighting for their countries or for a paycheck, but for their next meal and one slim chance at getting out. They are ghosts, trapped in the ruins of a political and corporate disaster. Every raid you go on, every firefight you survive, every piece of loot you take is a direct result of greed that brought the city to its knees. Your struggle is an echo of a scandal that the world chose to forget. So, why was Tarkov really sealed from the world? It was walled off to hide a terrible truth, that a global company was allowed to run horrific experiments and fight a private war on sovereign soil. The quarantine wasn't a fix, it was a cover-up, a desperate move to stop even bigger political firestorms from erupting. But so many questions are still out there. What was Terra Group's ultimate goal? What other horrors are still waiting in the deepest parts of the labs? As the game gets closer to its full release, we might finally get some real answers. For now, the secrets are still buried in those war-torn streets, waiting for someone brave enough, or maybe foolish enough, to find them. The story of Tarkov is far from over. What are your theories about what's really going on in Tarkov? What secrets do you think Terra Group is still hiding? Let me know in the comments below. I try my best to read all of them. And if you want more deep dives into the lore of this brutal world, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more Tarkov content. When you really think about it, every player in Tarkov, whether you're USEC, Bear, or a Scav, you are a prisoner. You're not just trapped by military blockades, you're trapped by the ghosts of corporate greed and political failure. You're not just trying to escape from a city, you're trying to escape the consequences of a scandal so big the world decided it was easier to build a wall around it than to face what was inside. And on the inside of that wall, the only thing that matters is survival, each and every day. This has been XB. Thank you so much for watching. Take it easy.